Ryan, we're here in Estepona, in your favourite place. What's the story? Tell me a little bit about it.
It's a great story because everyone always talks about Estepona as a town.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful town. We can see it. 18th, 19th century buildings, flower pots, beautiful calles, which means streets.
Yeah.
Wonderful for tourists to walk around in. But it's so much more. It's a big, long coastline.
Of course, I mean, I see a lot of videos out there, people walking through the streets, looking at the long coastlines. I think it's really important to focus on the real side of Estepona.
Of course it is, because where do you live? Do you live in these calles? Yes, of course you can. But most of us live in developments and in villas on beachside frontages.
Yeah.
And they're a very different proposition. And credit's really got to go to the mayor here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's really important to get a greater understanding of why Estepona is sort of the top of people's lists.
It is, and it's won numerous awards in the last 12 months for being one of those destinations you really want to live in.
Yes.
We've got to uncover that a little bit more. Not just do the frills, show why Estepona continues to thrive.
Exactly. So we're walking through some history here. I'm guessing, from what I know, these are 18th, 19th century streets?
I think you've read that somewhere.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what strikes you about this street in particular?
Maybe off the top of my head, some flower pots?
Flower pots and beautifully manicured streets. Where else can you see that?
It's very Mamma Mia. It's very picturesque here.
Isn't it?
Yes.
And there's a story here. And it's quite good we stopped by this sign because there are two parts to that. The green pots are all in this street.
Yeah.
The one in front of us are all orange, and to our left are all violet coloured pots.
We've really got colours of the rainbow around
Colours of the
here.
rainbow. Each year there are awards given to the best maintained street and awards to the best maintained house, the most picturesque. So that's that inward investment you constantly see, including by the community, in beautifying the old town of Estepona.
It definitely shows how much the people who live here love this place.
Isn't it? And the guys who live here, they won back in December 2012 by that song.
There you go.
So yeah, beautiful.
Bit of history.
Bit of history.
Now, we're here at the port. Now, boating must be a big thing here.
Yes, of course it is. And there are marinas right throughout the Spanish coastline.
Amazing.
And many numbers here on the Costa del Sol.
Oh, really?
You know the most famous one, right?
No, tell me.
Puerto Banús.
Okay.
That's where super yacht paradise is.
Oh, yes.
Where the uber wealthy come in August.
Yeah.
And berths cost an absolute fortune. I would wonder about buying an 18-meter berth in Puerto Banús and you'll pay 400,000 euros for
Wow.
that. But here in Estepona, to give an equivalent, a 20-meter berth here would cost you 35,000 euros.
Wow. So
You're
quite the difference between 400,000 and 35,000.
I was just going to ask you, did you remember the difference in the two prices?
I definitely did.
And what, 15 minutes apart?
Yeah, they're quite memorable differences, I
Aren't
think.
they? So where would you choose to live for a 15-minute difference?
I wonder.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, I know since Brexit, there's a lot of questions around visas, but there is a huge increase on Americans living here. What's happening?
It's a good question because we've got 2 points to really think about, haven't we? So European nationals are coming here en masse. So in North America, they have a thing called snowbirds.
Okay.
What snowbirds are, you're a New Yorker and you go, yeah, I'll go live in Florida.
Yeah.
They don't do California because the taxes are high. So actually, now what they're doing is they're coming even further to Spain.
Yeah.
So their question is, how?
Yes, I mean, I know that there's 5 visas, but there's sort of 3 core visas.
The easiest way to put that. So the British and the Americans and other non-EU nationals, they fall into that space.
Right.
Let's do young people first, because why not? Nomad visa.
Yeah.
You've got a job, you get paid an income, great. You're allowed to work anywhere in the world, great. Spain welcomes you with open arms. There's a really great example. Spanish government are investing massively in Malaga, the main city within our province.
Right.
And that's becoming the tech center of Europe. So Google have invested 350 million recently on new office developments.
Yeah.
And the companies around and supporting that are doing it. What that does is generates nomads coming to this region wanting to live in the sunshine.
Right.
Makes sense.
Number 2.
Number 2, think about being a little bit older, maybe a bit like me. And you get to that space now where you might have a pension, you might have some residual income from selling your big family home, the kids have grown up. What do you want to do? Live in the sunshine.
Yeah.
So Europe's sunshine coast living is the same as the snowbirds doing the same thing in America. How do you do that? If you have a non-lucrative visa, NLV,
Yeah.
and it's a low threshold, 23,000, 23,400, you illustrate that to the government offices we've seen,
Yep.
and you will get probably, and all the other factors considered, you will get residency here in Spain.
Fantastic. And the magic number 3.
Magic number 3 is property. Property always works. So again, if you're downsizing or selling your property in your home city, which is very, very common in both America and in the UK and across Europe, of course,
Yeah.
you can buy a home, you get a bigger home, more expansive home in the sun. Your threshold there is 500,000 euros.
Amazing. So money does sell.
Money does
We want
sell.
to live the dream.
But of course, there's other factors. You're a student, you've got job placements. They're all opportunities to get a visa if you're a non-EU citizen and want to live in the sunshine.
Sounds fantastic. Here we are, far, far away from the 18th and 19th century style streets.
It is, aren't we? It must be at least, what, 200 metres to 18th
Just a
century
little.
streets
I'm
over there?
getting the sort of modern history takes architecture vibe here.
I think what you're really talking about was economic growth, which has just been exponential here since 2010 when the mayor changed.
Yes, I mean, I've heard so much about him. Please tell me more.
Well, the headline always is, he's voted the most popular mayor in Spain.
Yes, I've heard.
I guess it's a reason. So what are they? Look, he talks more about in his interviews about the economic change, the investment that's constantly coming in here, the fact that he's half public debt. They're significant factors.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, I've heard there's so much about the development, the change that have been made, the economy. These are vital part of this community.
Isn't it so? Because we want a proper lifestyle. Whether it's street urban art that we see constantly through the main city itself, that extends beyond the old town here, or out on the coastline where there's this beautiful patio stretching for kilometre after kilometre after kilometre for walking, running, cycling, dog walking, the whole thing.
Exactly. I think let's go and take a look at some of that now.
Let's do that.
So, people often say life's a beach, which it certainly is here. We've got the beautiful blue sea to the right of us. Tell us a little bit about Estepona beaches.
But the first thing is, why am I wearing long trousers? Because, yeah, it seems wrong, doesn't it? Blue flag beaches, number one. Crystal clear waters. There's a secret beach I'm going to show you guys in a couple of minutes. It's right behind me.
Amazing.
That is the Costa Natura, and it's where people live.
Okay.
So not everyone lives in this downtown 18th century building.
Yeah.
What we tend to live in is developments and villas on the other sides of Estepona town.
Yes.
The Tour Costa I'd mentioned, and the other side is the new Golden Mile.
Yes.
Beaches are a little bit different.
Okay, yeah, I've heard there's definitely a difference in sand, in pebbles. Little things like that make such a difference, don't they?
Doesn't it? But if you're a family and you're living, would you come to this big beach? Well, of course you will. You're going to gather with friends and you're going to have your beach braais, your barbecues, your picnics, your lunches, and living that lifestyle, playing sports, meet your friends, all in walking distance along the patio. But if you just want some chilled beach time, like a secluded cove, that's right next to your home.
Sure.
Those beaches have something a little bit special and a little bit different and contrasting to what we see here today.
Amazing.
Just as beautiful.
Well, I can't wait to see some of them.
Let's go see.
So here we are at Cristo Bay. This is absolutely beautiful and it neighbours the port.
Doesn't it? And it's not a secret, but it kind of feels like a secret.
Yeah.
But look, we're here in the early part of the year and there's already so many people out sunbathing.
It's very private.
Isn't it? It has that secluded feel.
Yes, exactly. No, I think this is amazing. This is kind of a hidden gem.
I agree with that one. And look, and it's got chiringuitos, which are beach bar restaurants, either side of the bay. So what better? You're sunbathing, you're eating food with your family,
having
lunch,
a drink,
dinner, exactly, sundowner. Oh my God, the sunsets here, you can't believe them.
This is amazing.
Another important thing about this is it's very, very shallow. It's super, super safe for children.
Amazing.
So it's a heck of a popular place
so
for a young
families
family.
can come here, couples can come here. It's very special.
It's just that setting.
Yeah.
And what it also is the entrance to the Costa Natura where we are, which is part of Estepona. And that's the most important thing to always remember about Estepona. It's not just that beautiful town.
No.
It's this beautiful coastline with this Paseo Beachway walking through. And if we look further beyond our eye line, we're seeing residence complexes where most of us live.
Yeah,
beachside living, swimming pools, and a beach just like this.
It really has it all, doesn't it?
It does. So here we are, we're taking a break.
I know.
It's been...
well, working hard or hardly working.
Hardly working.
As I think
it's definitely on the hardly working.
Yeah.
You're going to come and join us here.
You do.
Look, we're on Cristo Beach. It's the beach. And it's got two chiringuitos. We're in one of them. And look at this, fresh fish, unbelievable, fresh vegetables. Cost of this is actually peanuts. So highly recommend it. There's the areas about Estepona we want to talk about. We don't really get the chance to do it in that place. So for example, services, right?
For sure.
That makes a lot of sense.
People want to know. We get a lot of questions about this, so I think it's important to touch on it.
Yeah, so schools are a really big one. We know schools matter, of course they do. And of course there are schools here. And being an international community, there are international schools.
Yes, of course.
So we've got this influx of Americans coming in now. There's Atlas School for Americans, follows their curriculum. That's
Yeah.
one big standout.
Yeah, there's been a huge increase in Americans at the moment. So.
Huge, and interest level quite significant. There's a British school, in fact several British schools. Queen's Grammar for the younger guys. My kids are growing up now, lawyers and working in finance in London and all that kind of thing. But I used to live about 15 minutes away in Sota Grande. They went to Sota Grande International School, IB school, top 50 in the world. That's something.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Pretty significant. Do you know, they're very arts and creative, so it really brought out their personalities and all the children that really went
Yeah,
there.
that's great to hear for families of all different types of children and their needs and things like that. It's important.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the questions I'm always asked is, do I put my kids in Spanish school and throw them in the deep end?
The big question.
Or into international? And really, it's really down to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 70-30 into international
Oh,
schools.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's so many of them. There's a growth market.
Yeah.
So education is really, really well covered. From when they're little poppy teeny tots right up to matriculation and whatever. Because
Yeah.
you've got IB, you've got British curriculum, you've got Scandinavian curriculums. They're
Wow.
all pretty much covered.
There's definitely
there.
something for everyone here.
For sure.
Yeah.
The other one that kind of comes into that servicey space for me is health. You guys ask about health an awful lot.
Yeah.
There are 3 large hospitals here in Estepona.
Yeah, naturally.
You tend to have private health cover. In fact, it's a necessity when the way the Spanish system works, that you don't put too much imposition on the public health care.
Yeah.
So you have private health care, which is just first class.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And everything's attended to.
Yeah.
And Marbella, remember, is only 15 minutes drive away. And there's every conceivable clinic in both Estepona and Marbella covering it. So whether it's cosmetic features or it's medical features, they're all completely taken care of here in unbelievably quick time.
Yeah.
And a very, very efficient, modern facility. And it gives you great peace of mind for everyone.
Yeah, and I think also depending on what it is, quite a lot of it's sort of a fraction of the price. It's amazing actually how much some of these are.
Oh, incredibly so. Look, I've been an avid runner, I've run many marathons, I had a bit of a knee trouble here.
Yeah.
I got my MRI scan done the same day.
Wow.
And they pinpointed what was wrong with that.
Wow.
What was wrong with that? You can't get better.
No.
And for more serious stuff, look, there are specific hospitals even catering for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all there. Look, other stuff which always kind of amuses me. I'm always asked about, what about services generally? Well, the best one is, and maybe we put a photo of this guy in. I've got a really big chow chow. And Maximus is well loved and hugged by everyone and anyone who sees him,
Yeah.
but especially children actually. He's a big bear. So look, veterinarians, grooming clinics,
Yeah.
all of those kind of
Very
things.
dog friendly here.
Isn't it?
Every corner there is a dog.
And also, there's massive supermarkets.
Yeah.
There's superstores with everything conceivable you want to buy.
Yeah.
Whether it be electrical goods, just your weekly groceries, it's all here. The discount chains are all here as well, completely catered for. The bit that works with services, because people talk about food all the time, but everyday living just works.
Yeah.
You've got medical covered, you've got schools covered, you've got your healthcare covered to a level that you don't need to worry about.
Yeah.
So what else is there? Sunshine, great music, and yeah, I want to go back to this fish.
Yeah,
You?
there really is nothing it doesn't have. So I think it's time to just enjoy our food.
Okay, fish time, guys.
Yes.
Speak soon.
See you soon. So, Cristo Bay's over that side.
Yes.
Where are we now?
Well, Cristo Bay, of course, is at the edge of Estepona town. This is where people live.
Yes.
So there's all that romanticism of 18th and 19th century homes and flower pots,
There are
and
some really beautiful places there.
aren't there?
Goodness
But
me.
this is how we live. This is actually living on the Costa del Sol.
Certainly is.
Look, they're intertwined with some hotels. That's the Las Dunas Hotel over there. My house is actually just here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I walk the dog along here every day, Warwick Town and the port, and coming back around again.
Do a little morning run.
Do a morning run.
Take it easy.
Very much into running, very much into cycling,
Yeah.
because this pass here goes for miles and miles and
It
miles along the
certainly
coastline.
does.
So why does this work? This works because you can have a quality lifestyle. Look, homes here don't come up for sale very often.
No,
Next to never.
clearly.
Why would you sell
When they're
it?
this beautiful, you would not leave.
No. And then when you don't use it, you take advantage of the rental potential.
Yeah.
It's quite exponential. Can you imagine August here? No, it's not bustling. I don't mean that. What I mean is, if you own a property here,
Yeah.
you'll get a factor of 5 or 6 times rent for 1 month.
Imagine. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
It does happen
Yeah.
all the time.
If you don't like the busier times, just rent it out. Come back.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's my advice to people all
Yeah.
the time. So look, what about opportunities to buy though if you do want to live in the coastline? What you're really looking at is specific, very high-end villas and or exclusive apartments that are on the beachfront. Behind us right now are two. The island that was bought recently and the Sapphire, which is just about complete now.
Yeah.
Now that pricing range, these are apartments, 1.4, 1.9 million, if you're in that kind of region.
Yeah.
Villas, a bit like the established urbanizations that are here, just don't come up for sale.
No, no.
And it's quite understandable. So what's the solution? And there is one. Want to hear it? There's a coastline. There's a coastline that extends and it has a road that parallels around it, and we refer to the coast road, logically. So what's happening right now over here in Costa Natura is about 30 new developments being built.
Amazing.
What's so cool about that? They're quite close to the beach actually,
Okay.
walking distance.
Amazing.
So you've got everything from penthouses, apartments, townhouses and villas all being built within a few minutes walking distance to this beach line.
Sort of gold dust properties that you can only get your hands on sometimes.
Only sometimes, because they tend to sell really, really fast.
Yeah.
Now, pricing is important because people need to understand what's your budget, what's your opportunity. And agents have this habit of saying, I need to know your budget.
Yeah.
You need to know what your lifestyle choices are.
For sure.
I think the better question is, what do you and your family want? What do you really need? What can you live with and what can you live without?
Of course.
What do they want? Sea views.
Yep.
What do they want? Access to the beach.
Yep.
This is what Costa Natura offers.
Yep.
And it's a bit like city living anywhere. The further you're away from the bigger cities, there's more space.
Yes.
And that's why there's so much selection down here.
So if you want that type of lifestyle, this is certainly it.
Yeah. And pricing wise, this is really, really, really important. Look, you'll get headliners saying you can enter for 250,000. It's not really true. The average price of a new build apartment is about 500 to 600,000 euros.
Wow.
And for that, you live in what's really a lifestyle resort community.
Yeah.
Swimming pools, Pilates,
Dream.
gymnasium, yoga,
Goodness.
co-working areas, and some even have beach clubs now.
Wow.
So you got the whole kit. You're a few minutes walk from the beach, all the other amenities that come with it, and as we've seen, just walking distance to the town centre.
What a dream.
That's Costa Natura for you.
Well, just come here and see for yourself, really. So Brian, where are we?
Where? New Golden Mile, part of Estepona, touching Marbella.
Amazing. And what is available here?
This is where people come and live, in apartments and penthouse complexes that are surrounding us and the exclusive villas.
And why would you want to live here?
Well, maybe the scenery can answer that better than me.
A little bit.
But people want to live in the sunshine. They want second home investments,
Yep.
and they also want somewhere where they can retire to. It's a driving force in this whole community.
And how do you go about buying here?
Well, the simplest way to look on our website, because we keep very up-to-date information on all complexes, both new and established throughout the Costa del Sol, but in particular here in Estepona.
Amazing. Don't want to state the obvious. It's quite windy.
It's a little bit, actually it's died down right now.
But there's something quite exciting happening behind us here.
Well, there's lots of banging, and this is an example of living on the new Golden Mile.
Yes.
And I'm really surprised I don't see videos ever showing this, because this cluster of new developments are where people actually buy homes and live in the Costa del Sol.
This is the reality, really, of what's behind it. But we've got two amazing locations here. Tell us a little bit about it.
So both built by the same developer, Coronas.
Okay.
This one's Oasis 325. Now, it's quite advanced, the Oasis 325. It's a significantly large project. This is phase block 789.
Yeah.
And there's people already living here.
Yes, I can see that. However, on that side,
We have Capri,
no
also
one
by
seems to be
Corona.
living there just yet.
Be a bit tricky, unless they're bringing a camper van or a tent.
Yes.
But look, what they both offer you is panoramic views. And it's a good indication of what new developments are really about, because they're new, they're being built.
Exactly. I mean, what would be really important, I think, if a buyer wants to go to the Santon's website, look at new developments, what can they find and why?
Well, what we feel is important is you know the status of a development.
Yeah.
Look, what's your choice? Are you looking for investment? You're planning for the future. It's a 2-year gap. You want that added value of 20% or 25% increase in value during build,
Yeah.
plus the market generalization. You'd buy in Capri, wouldn't you?
For sure.
Because you're getting in early.
Yeah.
If you're looking for key ready, I want to go and live in this development now or in 6 months' time, Oasis.
Oasis.
Santons tell you that.
For sure. It's all about timing, budget, your preferences.
Exactly. And preferences are more than just about money and in timings.
Yeah.
It's also about what lifestyle you want.
Amazing.
Let me give you a comparison. So these developments are very, very similar. One's offering views to the southwest, so you're getting sunsets.
Amazing.
One's offering views to the southeast, so you're getting sunrise. And this
Beautiful sunrises.
over that beautiful, glistening Mediterranean Sea.
Yes.
So that's something. And we're centered around golf and mountains here as well.
Yeah.
But equally, we're only 5-6 minutes drive to the beachfront.
Here we are in the beautiful Mirador Del Carmen, which actually means Carmen's view. Of all the time I've lived here, I've never been up here.
Yeah, I was waiting till sunset because this is when it's really best time to bring
It's
anybody
very
here.
special.
Imagine bringing anyone here, romantically,
Yeah.
your family, anyone,
Friends, yes.
taking in these incredible views.
It really is truly breathtaking being up here, seeing it for what it is. I mean, that sunset at the back, the port, we've got Africa in the background. Doesn't get more special than
Rock of
this.
Gibraltar right in front of that one too.
Yeah.
Hey, we should touch on what this building actually is. It's a cultural arts centre.
Yeah, that's
And
very special.
Music school, art exhibitions, a centre really of anything within cultural that drives people. And how unusual to have a skyscraper on a beachfront that actually makes sense.
I feel like Estepona really actually has everything. I don't know what it's missed out.
No, and you've got to give credit to both national and local government for having the
For
vision
sure.
to make this such an incredible destination.
Definitely.
And how privileged are we to be here today? Because I feel privileged.
I feel so privileged. It feels like something off a postcard. It doesn't feel real that I'm here looking at this view.
No, and what's within it and when you get down. So when we look back again into town, 18th and 19th century streets, flower
Yeah.
pots, colours, colour coordinated by street.
Yeah.
We should look at that again in more detail.
Yeah.
And then right in front of us is the new Golden Mile. And that's where people live.
It is.
And right behind us is Costa Nature, where people live. So not everyone lives in town.
No.
They live in coastlines. They
do.
live in villas on the beachside, or they live in town apartment complexes or on the hills above.
For sure.
How special is this?
Very, very special. I think if you want it all, this is where you should live.
This is where you should start to get your foundations of what it's like to live here.
Definitely.
Sierra Bermeja is right to our left, and behind us is the most famous and highest mountain of La Concha. Hey, I climbed that with Zach last year. Zach's my son. We both keep saying we're never doing that again. But
I bet you will.
But no, we won't.
No.
But the inner pride we have in ourselves for doing it, I'll never forget the amount of Gatorades we drank when we came down the bottom. It was the longest 10 hours of my life, but the most bonding time I ever had. And they're the special things you get to do here.
For sure.
These natural mountain trails, the culture, the history, the beaches, the sports, the activities. It really is paradise. And I don't like saying that because it sounds cheesy and salesy, but
No, I
and it
think
is.
this really is.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it brings so much more than many other places do.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to come and have a look? You can click below. We'll tell you some more about it.
Come on over.